What's up, guys? My name's Jason Kirchie. I've got Eric Petroni with Never Quit Overland. Did I have that right?
That's right.
You can find him, I'm sure, on social media, Instagram.
Never Quit Overland.
Perhaps any other channels?
No, if you and to learn about the name of Never Quit and how that came to be, that's my father's writing that he scratched out to me after a stroke and brain bleed. He's my best buddy. He's in heaven now. But there's a video on YouTube called Never Quit What Started It All. And hopefully that motivates you to realize that life is short and that we need to get out in the outdoors and enjoy God's beautiful creation.
That's right, life is short and we do need to get outdoors and enjoy God's beautiful creation. Today we're going to enjoy a beautiful creation that Eric has created, perhaps not by himself, but has created.
Yep.
And this is an F550 chassis, right?
Yeah, chassis, single cab XLT 2021, 10-speed, 7.3 gasoline engine.
It's a gasser, right? So when he told me that, I was like, interesting, because everybody seems like everybody wants to go diesel, but he has an interesting story behind it, and so we're going to get into that here in just a couple of minutes. So tell us, how did you get started? So we know it's a 550 chassis. So
yeah, so it's a quick overview. I grew up in the American Canal Zone at the Panama Canal for 30 years, and my father was a senior Panama Canal pilot. And we've always been adventuring, jungle and all that. My sister went on to become a professional surfer, actually #1 for a short time. And I lived in Australia in a camper. I've been to about 60 or lived in about 60 countries, always in hammocks or outdoors. I then went on to build my first camper, which was a van, a Ford Transit. Regret doing that. Then I did an Isuzu NPR cab over. That wasn't the right thing for us. And then I did an E450. Finally, I wised up and realized I should just do it right, get an F550 that has no limitations on weight and all, you know, and great for outdoors with 4x4. I could not have done it though if it was not for Buckstop Truckware out of Prineville, Oregon, who did the wheels, tires, steps, fenders, and bumpers, and then also Liquid Spring from Indianapolis, who did the 4-link hydraulic smart suspension, which allowed me to hard mount my camper to the flatbed that was made. And my hope out of this is that through great people like Jason and his channel, and please subscribe to his channel, because remember, we are all growing around the world, and I've learned a heck of a lot from his channels because I've watched his videos 10 times over, and they're top notch.
Well, thank you.
And I mean that, of all the things that we need to do to make our rig perfect for us. So please like and subscribe to his channel, because he's out here doing all the hard work for you while you're getting to sit at home on your couch. This truck, as you can see, you can
go ahead and keep talking. That's why we've got these nifty little lapel mics here. That this is my new little setup, so we can.
And there's mine.
That's right. So we can have good audio, and I can come here, and you don't have to worry about the audio dipping out. So go ahead and tell us about.
Yeah, so you can see right off the bat, it's been Line-X. It's Line-X Ultra, which has a 300 times more protection than auto paint. So it's going to allow me to go through the woods and jungle and not get scratched up. But onto the camper. The camper is aluminum. It's glued with Lord adhesives. They make the same glue that is used on Oshkosh MRAPs, fire trucks. A lot of people wouldn't know about that, but it has 100% stretch rate, so you're gonna avoid all the cracking and popping that goes on with aluminum. We turret press the aluminum here to just give it a nice look. The windows are bulletproof for a 22 long rifle, so I just didn't want people breaking in. As you can see, it's got 6 LP9s on the top by Baja Designs. Jason probably is in agreement, but they're one of the very best. They're, for me, the best in lighting. The bumper here is by Buckstop. LP6's light bar. There's going to be a 20,000-pound come-up winch on the front and rear. There's a breakover camera underneath. There's a camera underneath the chassis as well. The camper has Baja Design lights everywhere. Here you have a Baja Design infrared light with ProVision cameras on all four corners. On the front, there's an infrared. Even though they're infrared, I've supplemented with more infrared lights. There's cameras on the back. There's 2 cameras inside the cab. There's 2 cameras inside the camper. So with your phone, you can lay in bed, see what's going on, who's breaking in, etc. There's a 70-gallon transfer tank, so it has 120 gallons of fuel. This hammock bar is just, for me, I love hammocks. So you pull this pin, the whole thing rotates in, the pin then locks it again. So you got your 2 hammocks on this side, you got 2 hammocks on the opposite side. And then Jason, if you look straight up, that railing has 880 watts of solar. That railing folds flat, it screws down, the backs flip in. The hammock poles on the front of the truck give the support to the front so you don't, and I'll put netting there so the dogs don't fall. I left a gap of 9 inches underneath so that when the dogs are up there, they can peer out and actually not feel that they're closed in, they know what's going on.
Nice.
These tanks are all stainless. It has 140 gallons of fresh water capacity. This is empty for storage, that's all water. And then Dorian from Buckstop Truckware, I drove over to Prineville, Oregon, and he custom made this. Here's something cool that a lot of us, and Jason, you might appreciate. There's a big drawer that you can eat on, and then you can just store all your umbrellas and all that kind of stuff inside. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And this is heavy duty. I mean, you could stand up here, eat no problem too, if you wanted to.
Yep.
Heavy duty slides, look at that. And if you wanted to crawl up in there,
so
is that how you guys got up there a minute ago?
Well, that's how you can get up.
That's awesome.
And then these arms here will lower the spare, or they're your hammock chairs. So you can sit by the ocean and be relaxing by a river. Up on this is going to be padded the same thickness as the mattress. So when you're laying in bed, you can swing out this way and then lay under the stars, and you can put the awning out whether you want it or not.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
You put the awning out before you go to sleep in case you get a little shower.
Yeah, if it's going to drizzle, rain, exactly.
That's right. Man, that's awesome. Woo!
Then the tire, I inset it in, but I didn't want it all the way in, so it gave some dimension.
Yeah.
Every door has 3 locks on it, so I'm more protected against all the crazies that are in this country at times.
Yeah. There are crazies for sure.
Yes.
Hey, I wanted to ask though, I had overheard you mention that your hammock chair there,
yes,
the bar that it's hanging from,
yes,
you use that to get the tire down.
Yes.
How do you do that? What is there?
So there's a winch that I have inside. So this is a little hand winch.
Okay, got it.
You unbolt this and you just lower the whole thing.
It hooks to that.
Yep.
I'm with you. I'm with you now.
And then you have a bar that can go across, and it's your pull-up bar.
Got it. Nice.
So you have a pull-up bar too.
You gotta stay in shape, man. And
yeah.
You got like everything built in and thought about to take with you wherever you go.
And I wanted no outside access to anything. The water is all done from inside, so you can't have someone poison your water.
Man, that's awesome.
Everything overbuilt with locks in that respect. Around this side, Jason.
What's in here? Is this storage?
That is storage. So in here, great question. I'm sorry I didn't answer that. When this opens up, you have 13'6" from this end all the way to the other. So you can push your kayaks, 2 kayaks through.
Oh, this is storage, this big, long storage.
This goes all the way from this end all the way to the other.
Is it interior accessible as well?
Both.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so inside you lift up, you can see everything there, or you can push it in. So you can fit in here 2 13'6" kayaks.
Wow.
8 surfboards, 2 stand-up paddle boards. And anywhere else. Behind this is when you open this up, is a cage that pulls out this way. And in that cage is a 15-foot inflatable Hypalon boat with a 25 horsepower engine.
Wow.
So now you can go fishing, and you'll notice that there's nothing outside hanging. There's nothing to get stolen.
Right.
So you have these other rigs that are, 800,000 or whatever, and you're still putting your bikes outside.
Right.
Nothing here can be stolen. Everything's inside.
That is incredible.
Over here, these arms, again, you have these flip out, so you'd be underneath the awning on this side, right?
Okay.
I can't totally show you this because of the tires, but we're going to do a backup video with Jason and his amazing channel. So this would pull all the way out to here, and then the steps, instead of going out that way, they go down this way. Okay. So you're not impeding into someone else's parking lot. And then on here will be C-deck. The shower is right inside there.
Okay.
So you can come out here and dry yourself off, or you can wash the dogs out here. It's just a great dog, you know, dogs are everything, right?
Right.
And rescues are the best. So everyone here is going to get a dog, rescue a dog. The journey is way better.
That's right.
These steps are amazing. I call them the dog step, but it allows the dogs to just perfectly stand. And Dorian's actually making a killer new step that's going to have more angles to it.
Okay. So, question with these steps, can they function as a slider as well?
No, but they're just, you know, you can get up and you can do your work, and you know, and then you can stand, and you can. But when he makes the new one, which is coming out, which you'll see in the next video, the roof is amazing, where you have the 2 umbrellas, and you have your 2 hammocks up there.
So all those all the railings. Looks like they collapse and fold, and then they all just fold down the strap.
Great question. So if you look at my hands here, they basically fold down, and then they're screwed and pinned down. And then on the top is SeaDeck, so you have a cushion. You can do yoga or work out or sleep up there. There's space for the 2 hammocks, and then behind that is a queen mattress that inflates, or you can put your lawn chairs and your little card table and just enjoy yourself up there under the stars or by the ocean after you're done surfing or fishing or hiking. Because when you think about it, that's the best view that's up there, and no one's using it, you know?
It's if you can make it easily accessible.
Yes, and there's 2 hatches. So there's a hatch. Okay. If we stand over here, well, actually I must have closed that one, maybe. Here you can go. If you stand right here, you can see 1 hatch there.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a hatch over each bedroom.
So it's like right over there.
Yeah, so you can basically jump up out of your bed and get right up onto the roof.
Got it.
Yeah, and then there's 2 tiki torches in the front, 2 in the rear. And anyway, when we meet again, we're gonna do a backup video. I'll think up all the other things, and then we're gonna show you the inside, because the inside is great. It has 2 giant Dometic 95 dual zone fridges. It has abalone and cork. It's gonna be gorgeous inside.
So he was telling me that he can't show us the inside yet because we're not quite done. Interestingly enough, he's a Florida guy as well.
Yeah.
He's not far from us, so doing a follow-up video is actually realistic. Yeah. Whereas, you know, sometimes you meet people in their rigs and they're all over the country, you know, super far away. So I'm actually super excited about that. When I look at this thing, and I know that this was kind of the spirit of where you were going, I'm looking at this, I'm going, this is what you picture in Baja and Central America and some of these, you know, kind of like desert beach landscapes. This is perfectly set up, and it's intended and made and designed to live outdoors. I'm sure the inside's going to be very nice, but just the hammocks and all that other stuff. You thought about having an awning on this side so you could have shade?
I didn't, but I hear you. But I think this side will be the sunbathing side, and that will be the awning side. But there is an awning with and you know, if I know we all have our different. I mean, I was obsessed with vans, but if you were asking me my advice, and you are starting out fresh, an F550 can handle everything, and you can build whatever you want on it and then fully live out of it. So consider an F550. Then from there, you can go to Liquid Spring, and they'll convert it with their amazing suspension, or Buckstop with all their other stuff. The other thing I'd like to say is that life is short, as we both know. Start selling all your stuff. Live simple and live out in God's great country, because man, I'm 50. How old are you?
I'm 42.
Yeah, and you know, I might have 20 years left on this earth, so there's no time to lose. And that goes for all of you guys too.
That's right. That's right. You got to take advantage of stuff while you have it. You know, I don't know. It's crazy times right now.
Yeah, and there's crazy times. And you know, and that's why you see on that truck I have the Gadsden snake with the 13 stars. So we're starting to lose our republic a little here, people. So any of you patriots, stay true to what our founders gave us.
100%. 100%.
And rescue some dogs.
That's right.
And if you're not going to get kids, get a vasectomy.
That's right. I have one more thing. I want to see the suspension. Turn it on. Make it talk.
How you doing, man? All right, so here we go.
Make it bounce like Cheech and Chong.
So this is the suspension. You'll see it on the rear first. It's dropping. And then you've got, you'll have the front go down.
I mean, it drops.
And then I'll lift it up for you.
The front has dropped. I think, was it Carl with Liquid Spring?
Yes.
He was saying there was 8 inches of...
8 inches of travel.
That's right. Here we go.
Hey, oh, thank you.
coming up. Front first, right? Now in South and North Carolina, they call this the Carolina squat.
Yeah, and this suspension is on pretty much all of the ambulances.
Really?
So it allows you to squat the rear to get your gurney in. It doesn't jostle the patient. And Carl Hart came over from Kelderman, and this is the ultimate suspension. There's no leaves that are going to break. There's no airbags that are going to pop. It's adjusting. It's reading 1,000 times a second. It's adjusting like 100 times a second. So it's perfect on the road. There's two people when you buy your, I'm going to introduce you to Dorian. When you get your truck, when you order it, you can drop ship code. You can get the drop ship code for Buckstop Truckwear in Prineville, Oregon, and they will do your whole suspension, your bumpers, fenders, and your single wheel conversion. So I'm going to introduce you to Dorian.
So many products for Overland, but in this particular one, we're showing tires and wheels, suspension, fenders, everything it takes to convert an F550 from a regular work truck to a off-road capable beast. The main thing about these conversions is the tires. So you have your duals that are hard, they can't be aired down, they don't have good traction, they don't have good tread offerings, and you can get rocks stuck between the duals. The guy just came in this morning, they had rocks stuck in the duals, and he got the rocks cleared out, but 15 miles out later, it popped both tires. So he lost 2 tires, and then the front was all chipped up from the rocks they were on. So he's ready to go. He's going to switch over. To carry the weight, we end up with a 41-inch tire. To fit the 41-inch tire on the truck, we need custom wheels, and we want it to track front to rear. So that gets us we have custom offsets. So the wheels are custom for the F550 to make them track front to rear, since the rear axle is a lot narrower on a dually and the front axle is a lot wider. But it's the same wheel, front and back, no extra bolt spacers, and our particular wheel, aluminum wheel, DOT certified. So what happens though with the kit is that the front end gets as wide as the rear end. Right. So we have the fender flare to make up for the new width. And then we're using about 3 inches of lift, which requires a fair amount of cutout at the door and up here at the headlight.
Is this steel? No, this is
fiberglass.
Fiberglass.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the fender not only takes care of the width, but it takes care of all the trimming that we do in fore and aft.
Got it.
So fenders are an integral part of it, and then the icing on the cake is the bumper. And in this case, it's an extra wide bumper because we like it to cover the flare. So if you're hitting a tree or a fence post, it fends it off.
Eric wanted us to make sure we loop Carl into this because are you the founder or owner of Liquid Springs?
Nope, I am
Liquid Spring?
I'm the guy that gets to tell the good story.
Okay. It's really fascinating. I mean, you saw the movement of the truck. That's really nothing. That's just, we're just moving it up and down, right?
Correct.
There is intelligence behind what's happening. And I'm going to let him explain that all to you.
Carl with Liquid Spring. So just a little bit about the technology. Liquid Spring is a compressible oil. It has about a 6% compressibility to it. So based on that, we can get a spring rate. Now, if we can control how much fluid is available for the strut to use, we can change that spring rate. And we can change that spring rate in 40 milliseconds. Approximately a 5 times stronger spring rate is what we can do. And what we use is steering, speed, brakes, and height control information to actively control what we call our rate valve to change that spring rate. So as we're driving down the road, if we have an evasive maneuver, if we jerk the steering wheel, we can instantly ramp up the spring rate and prevent that body roll. If we driving down the road and we're in our sport mode, because we can do it comfort, normal, or sport mode, change our algorithms. If we're in sport mode and the wind's blowing, it'll actually stop that motion in that truck from swaying and moving around.
And the technology does that. You're not having to
That's
make those
correct.
adjustments. He was telling me a minute ago it actually has an ECU as part of the components, a computer that's making those decisions based on the
That is
software, the
correct.
algorithms, the settings, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
How
We're
does it-
looping about 1,000 times a second, monitoring all of our sensors. We've got a steering sensor, height sensors. We're picking up vehicle speed. Are we applying the brake? And taking that information and using our accelerometer also to make these solutions. And it happens real time as we're driving down the road.
That's
So
incredible.
it's stability control in the suspension, a much safer product. And the fluid is operational to 50 below. So we don't have issues of like freezing, like a moisture that's in an air ride systems that have been problematic. So better ride, better handling, less maintenance.
So this is the infrastructure right here, right? The red?
Correct.
That's you.
So the red in the rear suspension, this is actually a 5-link suspension system. And then we just talked about the rate valve and our secondary volume. That's where we actually can change our spring rates from. It's the opening, closing, or pulsing of our rate valve that makes that difference. Then our power module, which is inside the frame rail, it's our pump that we actually pump from or dump from, like you've seen the vehicle going up and down. That's how that's doing that. So each corner has a strut that's coupled to a secondary volume to give us that ride quality.
Here's what it looks like, right?
So yes, this is our front strut. So this is our spring and our damper all in one unit. And then once again, the hose comes down and goes down to that larger secondary volume that's under the chassis. And then on our front suspensions, we actually replace the radius arm down below, and then we have our steering sensor that's in the further back corner.
Okay, got it.
It's an aliphatic. Go ahead.
I wasn't recording. I had stopped recording and didn't start again when we started.
Okay.
I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. That gave me a good trial run, right? Did that sound okay so far?
That was great.
Okay.
It was like perfect. That's why I'm like, no, I haven't done that in a while. So just so you know, we just were like 2 minutes, 3 minutes into him telling us all about this thing, and I'm like, I wasn't recording. I think I've only done that once before in my entire life.
That's all right, man. I've done worse, trust me.
We've got Dave with Line-X, and the reason why we're sharing what we're doing from his perspective is because he was a really integral part of this build, and what they did with Line-X and the Line-X lining. It's not just in one place, it's the whole thing's been Line-X.
The whole
right?
thing,
Right?
absolutely. And there's parts you don't see that are Line-X. So, yeah, the whole thing is.
So why don't you tell us about what we've got going on here with the Line-X?
Sure. First things first, our corporate office in Huntsville, Alabama. We have 550 franchises worldwide, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to just about anywhere you go in the United States or across the world, the globe, you can find a Line-X dealer. And so we were brought this opportunity to our shop, and so we were humbled to be able to be a part of that based on the amount of quality franchises we have out there that do some amazing stuff. I'm humbled every time I'm in a room with them. So, but we got chosen to actually help with this project. Eric chose the color, and that's what you're seeing, the green and the black. He actually chose the entire color scheme, brought it to us. The cab is actually done in ultra in black and green, and that green is a 1-year code off of Jeep. They made it 1 year.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, so Eric found that green. He really loved it. We had actually chosen 2 other greens that we were going to work with, and then he brought us this kind of at the last minute and wanted us to change colors. So we were able to accomplish that. So ultra is it's a polyurea. It's an aliphatic, so it's a UV stable polyurea. It's done at a thinner mil thickness, so this coating is actually done 15 to 20 mils. Its purpose is to replace paint or powder coat. And so it's 300 times stronger, just meaning that you can stretch it 3 times farther before it'll rip or tear.
Wow.
And so when you get scratch abrasion and abrasions of that nature, you're going to be way better on that than you would a paint or a powder coat application.
When you apply it, do you sand strip and everything, or do you apply it over the paint, or how does that, or do you put a primer on it first?
Well, it depends on the substrate. In this particular application on the cab, we actually applied to the existing factory paint.
Okay.
And so on the body, we actually was aluminum, it was bare aluminum. Right. And so we had to actually sandblast that, and then we do a metal treatment that actually converts that over to allow us to do a coating to it.
Right.
And then from there, we'll actually do an epoxy, a zinc-rich epoxy primer, and then we add the coating at that point. And so on that cab was actually a bare aluminum cab. So then you'll notice on there, there's 2 different applications on there. One is the Ultra, the other is our Pure Urea, which is for dent and ding resistancy. So it's a higher impact abrasion coating, where this one was a 15 to 20 mil application standalone. This is a 90 to 125 mil application as a standalone. You'll find this product, this is our XS350. Its sister is PaxCon, which is used in the military for bomb blast protection and ballistic protection. So you'll also see this coating on our AR500 Kevlar. And so they use that for ballistic protection, for spall protection, to keep it from splattering. So we trimmed that out, and most of the areas we did that in were areas that were going to take rock chips or high abrasion or ding, and then things slinging up, rocks slinging up.
Yeah, everything's going to hit that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he liked it so much that he wanted us to trim out these panels in it, and then that back corner we knew rocks were going to throw up there, and so we went with that. But
just did a line up there.
Yep. And it's really to do, aesthetics is one of the pieces of it, but the other piece was really impact abrasion resistance.
Got it.
And so as you go around the truck, there's obviously more Ultra and Line-X is on the bottom half again for impact resistance. And with that, we did some trim work. He liked those accents, so we did that. Around the perimeter of the vehicle was more aesthetics than it was impact. But then, like I said, around the side here, you'll see an embossed product that we do. So we emboss the letters here, so they're permanently embossed on the liner itself. It's a little bit tricky to do, especially with the 350. We have a new formulation, and so it becomes a little bit trickier to do that, but we were able to accomplish that fairly well for him. And then if you look around the back, we actually did the paint-on stencils as well. So these are all painted on with what we call our extra product. And so those are typically products that we would be able to pull color codes and be able to match those to a color code. Typically if a guy calls and says, hey, I want to do a color code match to my bed, to the color of my truck, that is what we call extra. So
it has been really, really great to meet you.
Thank
See
you
if I
for
can get
the
around
time.
there.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
And if you want to learn more about this rig or you want to follow the adventures, it's Never Quit Overland, I believe, right?
Yep, Never Quit Overlander.
You can find that on Instagram. Maybe I'll link it in the description below. Once again, my name's Jason Kirchie, and we'll see you guys in the next video.